morning from Knitwear by Helen. Today I'm going to demonstrate a non-kickback band. I use this one on all my garments and I've never had a band that kicks back. This one was done in cotton in a chuck stitch. For my example today, I'm going to use a swatch of knitting, and I've already picked up my stitches onto a garter bar. I estimate my stitches by holding up my knitting to my machine, and as you can see, I never pull it that tight. I allow it to contract a little bit to help the knitted band lay flat. I have 65 stitches in work at the present moment, and I'm going to add a needle at each side for the seam on your bands. The first thing I do is cast on in waste yarn. And for this method, I'm going to use my single bed casting on with a ribber comb. You can cast on in any way you want with waste yarn. It's just that I like this method because when I knit, I just like a little bit of weight, and I've never got on with the other ribber combs as they always seem to drop off on me. This is fully demonstrated in an earlier video that I've made. And now I'm going to knit a few rows with my main carriage over the needles, and once I've done a couple of rows, I'm going to bring all the stitches back to work. And knit a few more rows. I'm knitting this band with a graded tension, so meaning I knit a couple of rows at, say, tension 6, the next couple of rows will be at tension 5 and 2 dots, and then I'll knit another couple of rows at 5 and 2 dots, etc. You can knit it, say, 9 rows, tension 5, knit 1 loose row, and then knit 8 rows, tension 6, remove from machine on a garter bar and turn your work, and then knit a larger row. But for this demonstrating, I'm going to knit it in a graded tension. So my first tension, well, first of all, I'm putting the row counter to 0 so I can keep an eye on where I am. I'm going to knit 2 rows at tension 6, dropping the tension by 1 dot, and knit another 2 rows, dropping the tension once again and knit 2 rows, dropping the tension once again, so I'm now at tension 5, and knit 2 rows, and then going to knit 1 row at tension 9, which is my fold row. Back to tension 5 and a dot. I'm knitting it 1 dot bigger than I knitted the last 2 rows of the first section. So 5 and a dot and 2 rows. 5 and 2 dots, 2 rows. 6, 2 rows. 6 and a dot, 1 row. I'm now going to remove my band from my machine. Close the latches. And remove onto the garter bar, making sure you pull all the stitches as far back as they will go. I'm turning my work and I'm taking my carriage to the opposite side, and once again I'm putting the garter bar holder back in place. Make sure your latches are open, which I will do with this. A credit guard is a great way of doing this really quickly. Now with my work, I'm placing it onto the machine and making sure when I look down I've got all the stitches back on the needle latches. I've got a couple dropped here, but this can easily be fixed. If you don't want to use the garter bar, you can take off on waste yarn and turn your work round. I'm now going to up my tension to 7 and knit 1 row. You can now once again take off on the garter bar and reverse when you are attaching it to your garment, but for this demo I'm going to take it off on waste yarn, as if you're doing this for the first time it's probably easier to do it using the waste yarn. I've knit a few rows and I will remove from the machine. Now, with the work I already have held on my garter bar, make sure once again all latches are open, and push your garment back on. You don't have to use a garter bar, you can pick up straight from your garment onto the needles. I've just basically done this for demonstration purposes. Right. With the wrong side of your band facing you, pick up your stitches onto the needle latches. You'll have to bear with me while I do this. Nearly there. Oops. First piece done. I'm going to remove the waste yarn from this part of the band. Then I'm going to make sure all my needle latches are closed. There's one that's not. And take my work back, slowly making sure the needle arches have stayed closed, and then take it right through the garment edge. Then pick up your first row of your band. A good idea to open the latches once again. used a contrast colour for the band for demonstration purposes only. Now for that fiddly little stitch from the first row, which sometimes I mark when I remember to, so it would be a good habit to mark the first stitch after the first row of your main knitting after the waste yarn. I'm going to take my carriage over to the left hand side, fullest tension, so 10 and as far as it will go. Knit one row. I'm going to remove the comb now for casting off. You can cast off whatever way you prefer, but I like to use the latch tool. It's just what I'm used to. I'll try and go slowish, as I'm often accused of going too fast when I demonstrate. And this is like working a sandwich band, so it's great for neck bands also. And if you were using it for a neck band, I would probably reduce my tensions by whole numbers as I'm knitting it. So example, 2 rows 6, 2 rows 5, etc. Right, the band has come off the machine, and already you can see that it's lying quite flat. I will remove the waste yarn. That's your band from the back, with your ends that you can see, so it saves having to sew ends in. Using your latch tool, pull them through the band and obviously cut the ends off. With some scissors. And that was not very good. I've got it stuck. Right, another go, etc. I'll just get rid of those completely in the band. hidden away. So that's your band. All ends back inside the band. I'll have to cut those, etc. But hopefully that will give you an idea. Obviously a light press if the yarn will allow it, but generally once it's been washed and laid flat, you have a great band which encloses your whole edge. And I hope you like this demonstration. Please be aware I'm very amateur at this, and hopefully I will get better as I go along with different demos. Thank you for watching. Bye.